If I go, man, wouldn't it be cool to jump off a cliff and fly? Or lift the Empire State Building with one arm. Oh, I'd like to be a baseball player. Those are dreams. Nothing I can do, no matter how hard I work, none of that will ever come true. But you can set goals. Comic books are in my blood. It's where I come from. It's part of me. It's what I do. There's not going to be another Todd McFarlane in comic books. What the heck are you guys still doing here? Art. For you. As an artist, money isn't what drives you as an artist, right? As a businessman, absolutely. But the only reason I'm a businessman is to drive my art. So I have to succeed in business to be able to take this message of art out. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess depending where you're standing, the byproduct of that is money. Here it is. Here, I got lots of money. I can drive anything I want, and I can wear anything I want, and this is what I choose to do. Okay.
I don't think anyone can step inside his brain. I think he should donate his brain to science.
Bunt down third, bunt down first, fly ball to outfield, poof. The other lesson they teach you, don't ever go down to their level, right? Todd, don't go down level. I'm the first guy to go down. 3-line drive, Yeah, I just said every F word and every 4-letter word that you could possibly say in 30 seconds. Hit and run. People can say what they want to say about the rich, but I guarantee you, I paid more roads than the poor folks, So, on your way to that school that you're going to, like, more of my money's in those roads than anybody else's.
I know people who say there's two Todds. There's and not a lot of people get to see the two Todds. A lot of people see the business, maniacal, what they say, maniacal businessman that they're scared of.
Revenge is actually a pretty sweet thing when you can actually take somebody who's done you wrong and who's gone out of their way to do you wrong, and you can somehow get back to them, not in a malicious way, but in a way you went, yeah, I got him.
Then on the other hand, when you see him with the family and at home and doing that gig, those are two separate Todds.
How's your game going? Huh?
This time if you ask me a question, I'm not going to answer.
Why? You concentrating? get your booty out of here. Time for you to go get an education. 12 more years, you're out. You're free. Bye, Katie. Most of the success I've had is sort of creating for myself, being an average person and knowing that there's a lot of average people just like me out there. That just, I go, if I like it, I know there's a lot of guys that are just like me, right? Get a little skull face here. Little blood and guts over there.
He's got the best instincts of anyone I've ever met in my entire life. He just knows what's going to appeal. And I don't know how he does it. It's like he's got an extra gland in his body or something.
What I've read, he's got a pretty big ego, but deservedly so, though. I mean, he's created an empire out of basically nothing.
And also other people I've spoken to say that Todd McFarlane is a pretty down-to-earth guy. So, you know, I mean, I guess it all depends on what situation you're in, you know.
I think people who are jealous call him an egomaniac, and people who know better, he just kicks butt.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Oh, Katie, what are you doing? There you go, bud.
This is your biggest fan in the whole world.
This is him?
This is AJ.
AJ, how you doing today?
I'm great.
You're the guy that puts food on my table, right? So we gotta treat you good.
Todd really respects his fans because he remembers what it was like to be one himself. He looks at everything from a fan's point of view of being impressed with something that looks cool.
There's a magic to comic books where the words and the pictures just unite in just some magical way that sparks the imagination and allows the reader to actually fall into a story.
As soon as I read Spawn, as soon as I read #1, it was like nothing I'd ever seen. And here's this three-dimensional, beautifully rendered, really well done comic. And it was incredible. It's about a man who made a deal with the devil, didn't get what he expected, which, you know, that's typical of deals with the devil. But at the same time, he has a conscience. He was a hero. He was somebody, and now he's just, like I said, all of his power comes from this evil.
Spawn, you push him, he pushes back. Okay, that's me. He's got a bit of a bad attitude. Okay, that's me. He loves his wife dearly and his family. Okay, that's me. I mean, you know, some of the things of who he is, you know, just on a simple kind of human level, you know, are just sort of bored from me going, I can write about my life a lot better than anybody else's. The little girl's name's Cyan, and my little girl's name's Cyan. He's inside you. Wanda, which is the name of the wife, is the name of my wife.
Wanda.
I'll always love you. Forever.
I don't know. I mean, I met Todd so young, it's hard to remember it before Todd.
The big one is Al Simmons.
And I go, wow, like, you know, I'm going to be the lead character name? And he went, yeah.
There's Terry, which is Spawn's best friend.
Pick up the phone, hello. Yeah, hey, it's Toddy calling, and it's, I want to know if you wanted to, come to work tomorrow at, 8 o'clock. Okay.
If you can't sort of put your buddies and your neighbors into the comic books, then I guarantee it, the competition ain't gonna do it.
If you're easily offended, you won't like spawns. Worm-ridden filth. A lot of it was just disturbing.
You'll see the Spawn kills like pimps and drug addicts and criminals and pedophiliacs.
What he's doing is really portraying his worst nightmares. What would be the worst thing that could happen to Todd? To lose everything he loves and cares about, which would be his family, his life, etc. And I think he used that as the basis for Spawn.
Okay, Kate. Before we eat, you need to sing us your pickle song. To buy a pickle, I didn't buy a pickle, I bought some chewing gum. If I was the ruler of the world, I'd have certain rules, and once you sort of cross the line, you don't put you in jail, you become non-human. Done, there's my line, there it is. At some point, you know what, boys and girls, you just gotta take things into your own hands, what do I care? So, you know what? I'm the guy that's for capital punishment. And if I could have the part-time job of blowing away all the people that have mutilated innocent people, I'd do it in my spare time. What are you talking about?
I think people think because of what he does, he must just be kind of weird and off-kilter, and he's not. He's actually as normal as they come. And maybe it's because he has the ability to express it. I don't know. Maybe if he had to suppress it, then we'd be worried. I don't know. Maybe it's that everybody has that dark side, it's just that he actually draws it out and is able to market it.
You will never escape me.
It's interesting. He's incredibly talented, incredible genius, but it's like small things like getting to an appointment or whatever. He doesn't want to have to deal with it. The fun challenge is getting him to a certain place at a certain time, what we call the office Todd time. Here he is.
Hey, let's do it. I gotta eat on the fly. So, it's okay. And then I brought my toothbrush in case I got anything in my teeth there. So, always be prepared. Do you know what was on TV? The race for the record. Yes. McGuire Sosa.
Oh, was it?
Oh, sure. It takes 10 minutes to do a white balance for you guys here? I thought they said you were pros.
Hey, guys. Hey. How you doing, buddy? We met you before backstage at the Grammys.
Oh, are you guys that we were trying to hook up, but it never
That's right,
quite
it never worked out because we had so many people. It was towards the end of the day.
Right.
Todd McFarlane, everybody. Todd McFarlane.
Mom, Dad.
Todd McFarlane, Canadian. Welcome to the United States.
Hey.
Nice to have you down here.
That's right. We moved here because of the cheap prices at Taco Bell.
Now you started. When did you start your own company? How long ago?
1992. And then
wow, so only since 1992?
Yeah.
This has all happened?
Yeah, sure.
Now, has there been any fallout over the violence? The recent, Columbine balls up.
I can honestly say I've lived in controversy my whole life, and when these things happen, the heat gets turned up. The facts of the matter is that everything that we do entertainment-wise in America, North America, gets translated and swallowed around the rest of the world, yet they don't do the things we do here in America. And I hate to say it, it's because we've got different gun laws. Being good is not a unique thing to religion. I think sometimes people forget that if religion had never been created, there still would be some good people out there. So what is religion? Religion is hope. Is hope. And I'm like, I got it. I'm with you. It's like, we're gonna offer hope. We're gonna offer hope. I got it. I don't need it for myself personally, but I get it. I'm God bless you. But then there's a comma. It should have ended with a period. Religion gives you hope, period. And then I'm with you. Well, yeah, I even endorse you. But we put a comma instead of a period, and somebody should have just put the period. And now we have the religion gives you hope, comma. And if you don't believe our way, we fucking burn you for the rest of your natural life, and we hope that your kids die in the most atrocious way, blah, 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 blah. Whoa. We were doing pretty good there for a while. I believe I'd go through the Bible with my black pen and get rid of what I believe the silliness of it and hand it back to people and go, now there's a pretty good book to live by. Tell Melanie I'm gonna go do her Sigar intro.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Yeah, this is the intro to the Sigar comic. It'll only be one page long. So it's like the phones are always ringing, the kids are running. Quiet's in a quiet place, right? For those of you who don't know what the word Sigar stands for, it's short for cybernetic gorilla.
Todd was one of those kids that just everything fascinated him. Worms and bugs, and if it crawled, if it moved, it ended up in Todd's pockets or in his hands.
When I was a kid, I like kind of slimy things. The darkness is like a boy thing, right? So as a kid, you like lizards, and then you like snakes, and then you like dinosaurs, and then you like aliens, and then you like Frankenstein, and just an extension of that.
I used to look at him sometime and wonder what went on in that brain of his.
We're going to follow the adventures of essentially an animal that's been augmented, not a man who basically has got like animal powers, but actually a beast.
He didn't roll his R's right, and so they put him into this speech therapy class. And this is sort of the beginning of him being different. And he's like, how dare a teacher tell me I don't speak right, you know? He'd go around the house rolling these R's, that's whatever they taught him in speech therapy class. And I'm thinking, if I have one more week of this, you know? So they took him out. Todd's father, for some reason, had wanderlust in his soul. He would have been a wonderful gypsy.
He was in the printing business, and wherever there was work, he just sort of kind of went. When I was 5, we would do artwork in kindergarten. And I did a painting of a picture. And it won some kind of award. I forget whether it was just local for Anaheim or whatever. And so they hung it up in Anaheim Stadium. So I remember that was my first game, actually going to Anaheim Stadium and walking down the halls, and they had like the winners on the hall.
Wow, I love the applause.
So that was my fine moment of going. So.
He was sort of the best of the best, you know, and I think that made a big impression on him.
My dad just came home one day and signed us up. Like, he was like, I don't want you guys hanging around this summer. I've signed you up for baseball. You're all playing. Okay.
He had the speed of a gazelle. And in fact, he got quite a reputation for stealing bases.
I gotta see if I can actually make the move of what the major leaguer would do on this pitch. Holy.
They all hated to lose. And they were such competitors. They wanted to win, you know. It's like they were out for blood. There was no, no prisoners taken. It was like everyone was for himself.
Not bad. Todd McFarlane, it's your pitch.
Todd would just antagonize, and would not stop. And I just thought, and finally I had to boil one day and said, look at it, if you don't stop, I'm gonna. And of course, Todd, that just gave him more fuel.
Okay, so let's just go through it. Did you ever threaten to kill me with a rock?
Yes.
A knife?
Yes.
Scissors?
Yes.
Fire pokers?
Absolutely.
Baseball bat?
All the time.
But am I missing something?
But I never did any of them.
That's right, he wasn't driving yet. Forgot the car.
That's right. So it was always a new instrument, an implementation of death, once a week, and it was always the same way.
That's
it was
right.
always the...
Yeah,
he always had it there.
Consultant on Friday the 13th.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you! And I never blinked. And man, actually, you know what? I talked to you about not having that much fear. I'd probably have him to thank for it, because I was threatened with death 100 times when I was a kid. I just began collecting every comic book that I could get my hands on and I could afford, and then I started teaching myself how to draw. I doodled and I drew, but I didn't have any clue what I would do with it, if anything, because again, I was an athlete, right? I want to play sports.
Kind of guy that wanted to play to his own drum beat, Didn't listen to the coach always, well, spent a little time on the bench.
This is actually where I first met Wanda, up in the stands there. Right?
I was there watching a game, and Todd at that time I think was a groundskeeper for the Calgary Cardinals, and he was in the stands watching the game, and I was just happened to be sitting near him, and I was very flirtatious at that time, and I just started flirting with him, and I just thought he was cute.
So she was just around. She was just a cute looking kid. I mean, what am I gonna say? I was like a boy, and she was a girl. And actually, it was pretty interesting because she was, when I started dating her, she was 13. I'm in grade 12. Juana's in grade 9.
I think that was hard on my father because I think he felt like, Todd stole me at such a young age or whatever. So he fought that relationship for a long time because he wasn't quite ready to let go of his little girl.
Yeah, I think after he saw that I was going to hang around more than he liked, that he made me work around the house. and he had a big lawn. I mean, it took a long time.
He treated me like a princess, and who's going to turn away from that? I mean, besides the great looks, you know, that was obvious, but... Then he went off to college, and we had this long-distance relationship where we'd spend, you know, a limited amount of time together, and so it was very intense.
I had a baseball scholarship. Part of the baseball scholarship was that you have to work on campus. So my job was, then I got to be a janitor at the administration building. And I heard it was like about 2 years after I left before they actually broke the record. 3 stories in 40 minutes.
We were just two guys like any other college guys, you know, aspirations of making the big leagues, wanting to be professional athletes and, you know, doing whatever it took to get there. And yeah, so it was one of those, you know, going to practice, going to class and, you know, coming home and, you know, sitting down, chatting about the day a little bit and then, you know, just chasing the dream.
So it was about 3 years that we were apart. So we wrote a lot of letters back and forth. And he would write me poems and draw me pictures and draw me birthday cards and Valentine's Day cards. Nothing like absence to intensify a relationship.
I never looked sideways at another girl. You know, never dated for one day, never flirted, nothing. That was my focus.
I went to Spokane where Todd was.
Yeah! Yahoo! Sure, because then she's back, right? We're back. We're back. We're right where we were a couple years ago.
When we were in college, I always lived in trailers. I was trailer trash, I guess. It's kind of a funny story. He got down on his knee.
With the ring, right?
When he kneeled down and asked me to marry him, it was summertime in China. He had this huge grasshopper on his shoulder.
Then the bug jumped.
And I just started screaming because it was like huge. He was like, "What? I'm asking you to marry me and you're like screaming." He didn't quite understand what was going on. It was this grasshopper on his shoulder. So that was when he asked me to marry him in college. And I said yes. Of course. He said, "Of course." Hi, Janet.
Hello.
Priority number 1 would be the UK, Australia, Canada, Germany, and Japan. And right now, I think the most consistent product we have is probably really the Spawn, unless there was something else that was coming out in the future that we were going to get involved with.
I actually kind of disagree with you. It seems to me that, I mean, definitely Spawn's been our anchor, but we're looking down the line. More of our lines are not Spawn than they are Spawn, don't you think? Like by next year?
Yeah, true.
Even this year.
Corporately, we get the bang for the buck.
Remember I asked you for a list of the distributors and descending order of effectiveness? That was something that Todd had wanted to see.
I pretty much would throw out everything that I have business-wise away, like tomorrow if I play center field for a Major League ball team in a heartbeat. mean, I haven't given it up. The psychologists have a medical term for it. It's called frustrated athlete. My first injury, I do remember, with exacting clarity, you know, because I'm a little skinny kid and I bounce back, right? And I don't let them see me sweat. And that one, I had to like let them see me sweat. We're playing Washington State, our arch rivals. They always had a good team. I'm on second base. I'm running, and they say, he's stealing third. The bunch down first baseman picks it up, and he sees me coming. And I stop, like on a dime.
And it was a mess. I mean, his ankle was a mess.
I know sometimes people go, that kind of ruined your career. No. The answer is, without that injury, I'm still where I'm at right now. Man, I'm telling you, I was like, for 2 days, I was actually a true ball player. And then the coach had a long face and I got some bad news for you, kid. You become 26 out of 25, and that's actually not a good spot to be in, right? 26 man on a 25-man roster. And that was officially the end of my career.
So he took that same drive and applied it toward his artwork. And he does have that tremendous talent and that edge with his art and his imagination that he didn't have with baseball. And so when he applied it towards his artwork, then, you know, there was no stopping him.
When you buy a lot of comics, you get a lot of great guys, a lot of horrible guys, and then a lot of average guys. And so, you know, although it's kind of cool to look at the great guys, the guys who inspired me the most were the horrible guys. You know, I literally isolated each part of the body, and then I go, okay, it's time to go to the next step, and I do, what about a forearm with a hand? And then what about a shoulder with a forearm? And then after a while, I actually, like, you know, I sort of kind of like had the body, you know, somewhat figured out. I'd say I sent off about 30 or 40 packages a month for about a year and a half. So when it was all said and done, it was about 750-ish packages that I sent off. And I was walking towards the trailer, and Wanda opens up the door, and she flings the door up, and she's standing there. She goes, "Todd, who's Steve Englehart?" "Yeah, I just got off the phone with him, and he says he has a job offer for you." So the first story I ever drew that I actually got paid for, and I was like, cool, I'm a pro, was a story that was put in Coyote number 12. You know, here's all the names, Steve Englehart, and then you get introducing, and it was like, wow, look at that, I got my name in big, bold letters, practically big as I've ever gotten. He's like, dun, 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 dun. And I was a good day. I was feeling pretty good about that. I took my books, because they each give you 25 samples, and I literally went up and down the streets and I handed them out to the neighbors. Ding dong, you don't know who I am and you don't care, but I did these comic books and I'd like you to have a sample. Hello, ding dong, you don't know who I am. Yeah, I gave them to the neighbors. Like, I was proud, you know, I did it.
I'll never forget the day that he returned, and he says, "Dad," he says, "the first year that I went down," he says, "I was a snot-nosed kid." He says, He says, the second year, he says, they bought me lunch. He says, I'm on my way.
You wouldn't believe Todd back then. It was probably the shyest I've ever seen him. He had his head down most of the time. He was kind of mumbling. Part of me just couldn't believe it. Like, this guy is this great, and he wants to come here? Of course.
Spider-Man, when I took over Spider-Man, I thought he was in the doldrums. He was wearing a 60s hairdo, 60s clothes, 60s cars. I mean, his girlfriend, his wife at that time, Mary Jane, she was a model, a New York model, but she wore clothes that looked like came from Kmart. And she didn't have, I guess, a curling iron or a blow dryer because her hair was completely limp and straight. I mean, it was, what are you talking about here? So I'm going to make her look like a glamour model, which is what she was, and I'm going to dress the guy up like a current-day 22-year-old photographer in New York City, right?
He brought to the Marvel books this breath of fresh air as an artist. His work had this insane energy to it. And this was an aberration.
He changed the webbing. He added a lot more webs to the costume. He made the eyes a lot bigger to give it that more of a bug-eyed look, and just a lot more creepier look.
His basic drawing was nonsensical at times. I mean, he draws characters who have no bones. But it's exciting to look at, and it's expressive.
I was getting antsy that I wanted again to write my own books. I was penciling and I was inking. I want to write them. I'm a very curious kid, and I wanted to see if I can do it.
I discovered that there was a great appetite for Spider-Man material. Didn't take a genius to say, hey, let's do another title.
Todd got to get his own Spider-Man title.
McFarlane's first issue sold over 3 million copies, which he says pays the bills. But his true love is baseball.
Yeah, I'm an athlete first, and then I do comic books as a living.
And so you'd go from this normal existence to this comic book existence at a comic book convention where people would scream and, crowd around him and line up for literally hours and hours and hours to get a signature, and talk about surreal.
I realize now that he was probably making $1 million a year, which we were all totally unaware of.
Every time I went to go visit him or anything else, it was, just, I'm going to see my brother Todd, and then...
We talk baseball.
We talk baseball, and then I go, boy, your house is getting a little bit bigger. Maybe he's doing okay.
I felt sorry for him, just always hunched over that board. I mean, literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, it was horrible. I worked till around 1, 2. I'd go home, get some sleep, come back at 8 the next morning. He'd still be there, same clothes, same hunched over on the board, and this went on for months.
Kids large and small waited for hours to meet the man behind today's Spider-Man, Todd McFarlane.
It sold millions of copies, but to who? By the end of the 80s, you had comic book fans who were interested in comics as an investment.
Right there. That's hot. That's his new book, and that's the one that's hot. That's the one everybody's coming here to get signed.
You had comic book fans that were beginning to buy comics like junk bonds. And you began to have comic book publishers like Marvel Comics that began to produce comics like junk bonds.
And then when you get Todd McFarlane to sign one of the comics, then it doubles in value usually.
There you go. Thank you.
The more profits soared, the more the sales went up, the more experimental we got. And we just kept trying things, like day glow printing and glow-in-the-dark covers and silver foil on the covers.
You had a comic book fan who cared very much that there were going to be 5 different covers. More than that, they needed to buy 2 versions of each edition so they could put one in a bag and put it away and never look at it, and have the other one that they would actually handle and look at.
I just think we took advantage of them, you know? It's the one thing that I just keep slamming my head against the wall. Just because you can take money, it doesn't, that, you gotta have a better reason than to take money just because you can.
This guy has a dream goddamn life. Folks, if you're good at animation, do what Todd did. Tell everyone to go F themselves, and you make millions of dollars.
There was still a lot of resistance to just having him on Spider-Man. Even though outside the company it was attracting a lot of attention, it was doing so in a way that was going against how the higher-ups thought things should be. At that point, the editor-in-chief was Tom DeFalco, and he would refer to that spaghetti webbing that Spider-Man was shooting.
He started to aim for a more adult audience, which under most circumstances would have been fine, but he was working on Spider-Man. We felt Spider-Man should be essentially a PG or a PG-13 style character.
In order to kill, I think it was Juggernaut, in order to kill this character, someone had to take a sword and put it through the eye. So Todd drew this panel of this sword going through the guy's eye and out the back of his head. And he turned it in, and they said, this is too graphic, too gory.
I didn't feel that was appropriate for a Spider-Man comic book.
It's just lunacy. I mean, the comic book business is filled with this.
It put him through the roof.
Todd and I went around and around, and finally he agreed to change the artwork. And around that time, he told me that, flat out, you realize, of course, that at some point I'm going to leave.
Those are the frustrations that, you know, slowly sort of wore on me, amongst other things, that I just went, I'm in a nut house, I gotta get out of here.
A lot of people thought he was crazy. An independent comic book, if you made enough to pay the rent, you were lucky. That was the history of independent comic books. So he was taking a huge financial risk.
I'm at the top of my game. I'm the #1 guy with the #1 money and the #1 fame and fortune right now, and I'm willing to throw it all away right now. I went back to my portfolio and go, oh, Spawn. I just sort of pulled them out, dusted them off, and sort of, you know, brought them into the 90s.
Most frustrating part of Spider-Man to Todd had to be that Spider-Man didn't have a cape. Because I think Todd loves to draw capes. Here was a chance to do a character that was everything Todd wanted.
How many? Yeah!
Raise a little hell, raise a little hell, raise a little hell.
I don't have to sell a comic now for 2 years, and I'm gone, right? We're gone. Like, are you kidding? I'm selling twice, and I'm getting all the profits, and it's my baby. Life was as good as it was gonna get. It was like total freedom and printing your own money.
What you got? Why don't you change it? If your world is all screwed up, rearrange it.
Without doing any fancy covers, without doing any dupes, we sold like 1.9 million copies of Spawn with no double covers, no tricks, none of that crap that they were doing back then. Just pure hard sales, you know, of one-of-a-kind items.
It was two guys over his garage doing this book. This is what we did, you know. What do you do? I'm a comic book artist. Never did he say, I run a comic book company. Typical blue-collar working guy. That's what he was.
Okay, who's been here for more than 5 minutes? I've been here since 8. You didn't raise your hand.
It's Spawn. It's my first time drawing Spawn.
Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to give this to him? What are you doing with
I was
this?
going to give it to him.
Do you think he'll take it?
No. I was saying if I could give you this picture I drew of Spawn.
What's your name? Justin?
Yeah.
Justin, I'm going to take that and put that in my portfolio, bud. Here you go, bud. Thanks for your patience. Thanks, son. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
If you look at the beginning issues, I was the editor of the comic book. And that went on until the issue, I think like 5 maybe.
She's editing it, and then we hit issue number 5, right? Which I think was actually one of my better stories, and a lot of people still remember it.
That comic book was banned in Australia. Customs seized all the books and turned around and sent them back or incinerated them or what. It was all over the news. I mean, it was scandalous.
And Billy Kincaid was introduced, who was a child killer.
In this issue, he was an ice cream vendor, and he used to say, you know, you scream, ice cream, we all scream for ice cream. And he used to repeat this, and it was really kind of hypnotic.
He had Billy Kincaid, you know, luring these children in this ice cream truck, and then he would kill them. And he didn't actually show them killing them, but he, you know, there was one scene in the comic book where it was like finger painting or something, and he had like the children's fingers on the page or something.
And he stuck the fingers on the wall, and there was like a panel where it was like there's this, you know, goo running down, a little bit of blood, and there's like the little kitty fingers, right? Well, you got to show something.
And at the end, Spawn, you know, kills Billy Kincaid, because Spawn is, you know, kind of a vigilante and lets his emotions run, and so he kills Billy Kincaid, and the way he killed him, I thought, was just horrible.
Spawn stuck him up on the wall saying he made boys scream, he made girls scream, so I made him scream and scream and scream.
I was really upset about it. I mean, I was really upset about it. I didn't like it being printed like that. I thought that it contributed in a negative way to society that wasn't necessary.
And that was actually the panel that went, I can't be a part of this, I won't do it.
Well, it depends on who you ask. I say I quit. He say he fired me as editor over that because he went ahead and printed it the way he wanted to.
See this guy right here? He's a 7-foot iguana monster that goes around killing mafia dudes, right? As an 11-year-old, please answer this to the nation. Do you think that guy exists out there? Did we get a close-up? I hope we got a close-up of that head nod. Does he make you want to go out there and like rip people's hearts out?
No.
But he's cool, right?
Yeah.
He's a good role model. I mean, he took what he loved and he made it into something huge. And all the while, never compromising, really. He never gave it up. I mean, that's heroic in my book.
So everything you make and everything you say and everything that you put out, everybody will not like it. And once you sort of accept that, then you're sort of free of guilt. It's like your Catholic guilt goes away. Cool. I know that like doing characters from the pit of hell aren't gonna be for, you know, ministers and grandmas. Cool, so I don't worry about it. I'm like, cool, I know they're gonna hate it. God bless them. Curious Comics here. This is we got. What do you got? You got DC, and then what about Image Comics? Other than those terrific Spawn comic books.
Well, yeah, of course, Spawn is the best-selling Image comic.
Oh yeah, thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Actually,
Spawn in 1993 was selling somewhere between 800,000 and 1 million copies. Okay, it now sells 70,000 copies. That's how dramatic the drop has been in the comic book market.
Hey, I'll have to sign some of those Spawn books. You can get rid of them. Spider-Man, you would think.
So sales for everything just went way down, just hit the bottom. And all the industry saw was, wow, if we make this book with X amount of covers, we're going to make a ton of money from it because people are going to buy the covers. People said, no, we're not.
So this is, again, imported Japanese animation?
It is becoming an increasingly antiquated art form. And I believe that it will survive in a much smaller venue. I think in the early 1990s, the industry convinced itself it was rock and roll, stadium rock and roll. Really, it's more like club jazz.
Don't worry about me. Like, I'll just transfer, you know, which is words and pictures, called comic books. I'll just transfer it someplace else. Like, I don't, like, I'm not the guy that they have to worry about.
He just has these visions and these goals and these drives that, and it's the same ones that existed when I met him. For going out with me, for trying to make it in baseball, for trying to make it in comic books, for starting his own. I mean, he just has, and I don't know where it comes from, so don't ask me. He has this drive in him.
The guys who sort of complain the most are never the guys that are willing to sort of like start their own companies and take their own risk. Somebody explain to me what it takes for me to make my own toy. And the answer is the same as anything else. Ambition and capital and the idea to go with it. Let's go. Let's do it.
I discovered that toys were no longer rigid, undetailed pieces of plastic, you know. They were actually miniature sculptures that were just affordable. He's taken something horrific and made it, you know, into a beautiful sculpture. Thanks.
Get the one from yesterday.
I did.
Did I wake you up?
Yeah, but that's okay. I needed to get up anyway. Oh, yes. This is the one I've been waiting for. Is this the read? When I work, I work for Pizza Hut. I went in, I bought a 13-inch Spawn, was the very first figure that I bought. I brought them home, I opened them up, immediately hopped back in my car, and ran back and bought about 5 more figures.
Are they only here? I see some Spawn over there. Huh? Where? Huh? Oh, yeah.
And then from there, I was bitten by the bug.
I want to make toys for myself, you know? I mean, really, it's like if I was collecting toys, what would I want?
You know, the leg moved there, that first jolt. Just give it the juice again, Vic. Let's take one more look at it.
Okay.
Well, what Ed was saying before is that it would be nice if we could get some vibration in the legs as well as the upper body.
You're gonna have to do is send us the sample, Victor, and we'll have to go over it with Todd.
Yeah.
This is somebody trying to poke check the puck. I mean, it depends what you're trying to do. This is somebody trying to do a slap shot. It just depends what pose we decide to give them, right?
Do we also want to give the pose that would most likely be for the player? You know what I'm saying? You don't want...
Yeah. Are you a hockey fan, Andy?
Yeah, I used to be.
Okay.
I haven't had time lately, though.
Okay, so you tell me what's the pose that most people recognize Eric Lindros in?
Parked down in front of the net.
No, the answer is there isn't one.
What's that?
There isn't one. Every one of these poses that I just showed you here, Eric Lindros will be in that at some time during the game.
Right, I know, but wouldn't you want the pose that most people think of the player in that pose?
What's the definitive pose of Wayne Gretzky?
Well, that's a tougher one.
Well, it's a tougher one. You can't even come up with one for Gretzky. So how are you coming up with one for a guy who's not as good as Gretz?
Raise a little hell, raise a little hell, raise a little hell. Raise a little hell, raise a little hell, raise a little hell.
A comb or anything? Or no? I just want to ask one question before we even start the conversation. Yeah. Can I say fuck? Fuck!
If you don't like what you got, why don't you change it? If your world is all screwed up, rearrange it. Raise a little hell, raise a little hell, raise a little hell.
There's not just one corporation or two, there's 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, what's going on here?
There's 9 offices in 4 countries around the world.
Yo, Spawn in the house.
But there's also a reason why you live in Phoenix, Arizona.
So you can play baseball 365 days out of the year. These pages are good, except for this.
Spawn is a studio-produced book. A multitude of artists are working on a number of titles, and they are not being written and drawn and lettered and colored and everything by Todd McFarlane.
Hey, how you doing today? Everything that we end up doing is not for fame and fortune. It's just to move art. But to be successful at moving art, you got to be sort of famous, and the famousness means you get money. I mean, so the byproduct of doing, I guess, a good job with art is fame and fortune. What are you gonna do?
From flesh to steel, you must visualize your objective. From blood to blade.
Don't get cocky. You have a lot more to learn.
From man to Spawn.
This is the moment that I'm saying to the world, Spawn is not Batman.
Evil has a new enemy. Justice has a new weapon. And the world has a new hero.
Todd wants to leave behind a legacy. He wants to have Spawn be a universally known name across the world, you know, that people just know who Spawn is and who Todd McFarlane is and what this young guy has created. And I think Todd wants to be famous.
I think without argument, the most significant baseball in the world today, it sits to my right. Mark McGwire's 70th ball. There's nothing I can really say that would do it justice, so we'll just skip the color commentary on it and go for it.
And $750,000, $750, $800,000, $850.
Runners on first and third, 2 out. It's out of the. Bring it home! Oh, number 70. How much more have you got, Big Mac? Number 70.
But if it goes up that like this, then I'm out of here. Yep. Yeah, 1.9. I'll go.
$1,900,000 is bid, and $2 million. $2 million now. $2 million you need to be. It's on the telephone at $1,900,000, and now $2 million. Is there an yes? $2 million.
God dang it!
Matthew, sir, would you like $2,100,000? It's you, sir. Yes or no?
I'll go 2-1.
$2,100,000. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you saying yes, sir?
Yes.
$2,100,000.
Yes, bid.
$2,100,000 is bid, and now $2,200,000. $2,000,002. Is there an advance? Yes, $2,000,002. And now $2,300,000. $2,300,000 to the telephone. $2 million. Do you want in?
Yeah, put me in.
$2,300,000. $2,300,000 is bid. Last chance. Fair warning to everybody selling to the telephone at $2,300,000. Do you want in at $2,000,004?
Did someone go up? God damn it!
It's okay. $2,000,004 is over there. $2,500,000. $500,000. $2,500,000 to the telephone. It's bid. Is there any advance on the bid now beyond $2,500,000? Selling one for $2,000,007. And $2,000,007. $2,000,007.
Can I go up by 50 or no?
$2,000,007 to the telephone at $2,000,007. $2,700,000. You need to be now $2,700,000. $2,700,000. $2,700,000. And now $2,800,000. $2,800,000 needs to be the next bid. We're over here at $2,700,000. Fair warning to everybody. Selling to the phone. Once. Twice. Sold to the phone for $2,700,000.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, we're in. Yeah, count it. Count it. Ooh. What am I sweating for? Gosh.
I just made the biggest plunge of my business career.
Yeah.
I gotta put 15% on $2.7 million. Holy fuck, that's gonna be over $3 million for that ball. We're gonna make that ball work for us then.
You will, kid. We'll make it work.
creator of the comic book and motion picture Spawn has gone batty over a bunch of balls.
In New York today, saying he's a psycho fan and a sports geek, Spawn comic book creator Todd McFarlane revealed he was the anonymous bidder.
It won't break. I don't understand. It won't break.
They weren't really bought as an investment. They were bought as a goodwill gesture to give back to the people. Plus, we partnered up with the ALS Association, which is commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
There's still a lot of people that just know me as the ball boy, right? You know, again, the sweet little ladies that come through the exhibit, and, you know, if somebody actually showed them the stuff I did, she'd have a heart attack, right? Because it's Canada Day. It's Canada Day.
Deadlines mean nothing to this man.
Look at that picture. You've got Todd.
Read it. What do they say?
Okay. He's from Canada. Crown jewel of America's pastime, bought by some nutty foreigner. Look here, it says he's putting up the ball on tour, donating the proceeds to charity. Yeah, right. But his PR agent made that up to make him look good.
I want to take like 20 cuts in every single major league ballpark. So if I say I'll give you the ball, but I get to take batting practice, then personally, that's all I want.
Okay. I'm not a ball player.
Now please give a warm welcome to Todd McFarlane.
He might even in the back of his head go, when I go out there and I take these cuts, someone might just be watching. I might just hit these out. I might hit 5 out. And so for me to sit there and watch him get the uniform on, getting dressed, he's going out on the field with major league hitters to go take BP. Overjoyed for him. He's getting to fulfill a dream.
He always tried to go for a home run, you know. If he would just try to get a base hit, he'd be fine. But it was like always a home run.
Wanda? Hey, how are you doing? Good. You know what? I didn't go yard today either. You know what? I'm gonna have to give it up. You know? I'm gonna have to give it up that I'm just a little skinny guy that just doesn't hit the ball as far as he thinks when his eyes are closed and he's sleeping. So I'm so good when I'm daydreaming. So, okay. Sounds good. I love you. Bye. I left Marvel comic books when I had done a bit of a run on Spider-Man and vowed that I wanted to create and control my own trademark and copyright and take it out to the world, not because I want to be an entrepreneur, which is what I am, which thanks for the award, but although as we grow, the biggest fight is actually you start to become the thing that you didn't like. Now,
you know, he is at a different place now than he was then. He is the guy that's, you know, the boss. And I've seen sometimes him do things or say things, and I'm like, you had hated that when you were in that person's position.
So I'll chew a new asshole into this guy again. Given that this guy's a lawyer, right?
We've got a letter, but it still doesn't.
I don't want no fucking letter. I told this guy, I go, pretend you're in my shoes and I was the lawyer. The only thing a bully understands is to be bullied back. Yeah, but that's not what I asked him. I asked the guy, like, there's not a trick question here. Give me your fucking files. Like, this isn't a trick question here. So I'll phone him because I'm going to give him 24 hours and then I'm going to sue his ass for the money that he's got and his client's got. Sure. I'll treat you fair, and the definition of fair is completely mine. So it's sort of a one-sided, what's fair, you know? And it's like, well, I'll tell you. And if you don't like it, then just tell me you don't think it's fair and make your case or just quit. I don't think it's fair. Well, I do. And I'm the boss, so I guess then you're going to have to just move on.
Todd said himself to me on the phone at one point when he was asking if I wanted to write one of his books. when I brought up what's the deal, he said, well, I'm a steamroller, Steve, and if anything gets in my way, I roll over it.
I'm a man of contradictions and inconsistencies.
But like with Spawn, if we want to keep doing 500,000-600,000 pieces, I can guarantee you, I'm going to sell 600,000 pieces at $9.99 as well as I am at $7.99.
I mean, I'm even wondering if we beefed up Spawn, if we sort of told him, right now he's black, right? If we told him to do like a green version or something like that, just as a chase figure, sort of like what we did with the invisible ones with the Metal Gear Solid. You know, just to sort of move that figure, but actually give the buyer an option on it. So overall, if we end up having 100,000 spawns, maybe when it's all said and done, we'd end up with 8,000 or something. So maybe 6 or 7, 8% at best would be this variant thing.
Into the spawn room. It's the instant collectible all over again. I don't know if I have any room.
Are you gonna have any room?
No, I don't have any room.
Let's see.
Angela, I still need quite a few of the variations. It gets a little complicated.
Yeah.
The no panties and
with panties, no panties.
If you notice how light her skin is,
yeah,
they changed to a tan skin, right?
Yeah, I see that.
So you can find some of the earlier ones with the tan skin.
With the tan skin.
Red Angela, and we have silver buckle, silver shaft, red bra strap, silver buckle, gold straps, silver shaft.
Oh, sweet.
You know, people will buy whole cases of figures just to get one gold or pewter figure. So, I mean, it's definitely smart marketing. In the future, if they continue it, it'll just go through the same cycle it did before. People will burn out on it. It'll stop being done. Sales will decline.
Here's potentially the danger that we're looking at. When you're starting to talk about collectors and whatever else, everything is about momentum. And I know being a collector myself, that as soon as you give me an excuse to stop, the toughest thing for an addict is to stop. But once you sort of stop, then it's sort of easy to sort of stay clean a second day.
Honestly, there are months where I've gone on minimal amounts of food just to get everything. You know, that's the extreme I've taken it to. These are the figures I never had as a child.
You always covet those things you can't have, right? So I can't have a sports career. So it's like, I just like a sport, I haven't let go of it.
Todd McFarlane's first hit in Dodger Stadium. This is it. Don't worry, I'm not holding out for much.
Someday the smoke and the mirrors are going to be taken away, and I'm going to sort of be shown for what I am, which is just a simple-minded little Canadian kid that sort of like pulled the wool over their eyes for a long period of time. So, oops, sorry about that, guys. Okay, you know, it was fun while it lasted, and I'll just move on.